I'm Swarupa Ananth. I'm a tabla player, a percussionist, a music producer, music educator, and a full-time mom.
Hi, I'm Mohini Dey. I play bass, I produce, I arrange, I compose, and I also have a company on the side that does social media management for a lot of artists. How did you start playing your instrument and who was your teacher?
Like most typical South Indian homes, I think I was about, 6, and I was sent to Carnatic singing classes.
Yeah.
I lasted about, 3 months. And I said, no, I'm not doing this. It's too loud for me. It's too, not my thing. I came back, my mom's like, okay, let's try Hindustani vocal. And luck would have it that there was tabla class happening in the door right next to my vocal class. And my concentration was always there. And this one day, my teacher calls my mom and says, you know what, don't send her to my class anymore. And my mom was like taken aback saying, what happened? Is she not doing well? Is she not practicing? But the teacher was like, no, just put her in the room next door because her attention's there. Maybe she wants to learn the tabla. And I was just so excited when that happened, that switch. And pretty much it was, it was a go from there. And
Wow.
I started at this local institute in Dadar. I played there for about 2 years. And a friend of my mom found out that Ustad Allah Rakha, as we fondly call him, Abbaji.
Yeah.
Abbaji is running a class in Shivaji Park. Mm-hmm. And she said, take your daughter and go. You never know.
Yeah. How old were you then?
I was I was 10.
Wow.
Yeah, I was 10 when I went there. And they had their set of rules. So, we don't take kids below the age of 12. We don't take kids who've not learned for 5 years. Yeah. I didn't fulfill either of those categories. So I was like, okay, I'll come back when I'm eligible. But I don't know what my mom had, that moment where she said, Abbaji is here. I've just got my kid, let her play just like 2 minutes, take his blessings, and then we'll go and we'll come back after 3 years. And I played, and I get goosebumps even thinking of it, because he was like, I don't want to hear anything, just come for class tomorrow. And that's how it began. And I'm like, okay, I'm so grateful for all of those things to have come together.
Yeah.
And
did you always know that you wanted to pursue music as your career?
Not really. So music's been in the family.
Yeah.
My mom's a singer. My grandmom is a singer-composer. It didn't even strike me that music can be a career. Up until I was in college, and then, there was this youth festival and the college festivals, and then you realize that, okay, I can be a musician.
Yeah, it's so interesting because I never wanted to be a musician.
Wow, okay, that's interesting.
Never. Yeah, I always wanted to be a fashion designer.
Wow.
I was cutting up my mom's saris and my dad's clothes, and I would walk on the streets wearing my handmade outfits.
I think that is very cool.
Yeah, it was really fun. I was always a really artsy-fartsy kid. I was always playing with color and anything related art. I loved painting walls. My dad had dreams. My dad wanted to have 2 kids, and he knew that both my kids are going to pursue music as their career, because that's all he knew. He picked up bass pretty late in his life, and he had a brother that played drums in this really famous band called Karma in Kolkata. And he started playing bass in that band, and then he fell in love with my mom. And then, back in those days, falling in love was such a taboo. And so he made sure that my sister and I, got the best education. They struggled so they could feed us, and we would never have to ask for anything from anyone. He made sure that we were independent as hell, And a lot of people said, why are you teaching your girls such a masculine instrument like bass? I started learning to play the bass when I was only 3 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, it was this huge bass that my dad used to play for his gigs and studio sessions. I would hold his hand and go to all the studios and go to all the, beautiful venues that he was performing in. I met so many people. Finally, one time he was like, why don't you record half the song with me?
Wow.
It was for Kailash Mehta. I still remember the guy's name. And it was a bhajan thing for Hanuman Chalisa. It was when I was 9 years old, and he took me to the studio like always. And after school hours, I would go to Nirvana studio to record and to jam with Ranjit Barrett. And he was obviously a big father figure in my life. I met him at the age of 11, and he took me under his wings. I literally had like a master class just sitting there watching him play with so many renowned international artists like Dominic De Piazza, Jonas Elborg, and then he started including me in his band. But even then, I didn't know I wanted to do music as like my career thing, because I was still so dedicated to fashion. And here's the funny story. Like every time I would be at home and watching like fashion shows, my dad would look at me and he would bring my bass and put it in my hands while I'm watching the fashion show because he wanted to make sure that like I'm not missing out on time and I'm still like focused, because he really wanted to. He was determined. I became really rebellious and I wanted to move out. Like I moved out at 17 because I wanted to have control and lead my own life. And I did that. I played with literally everybody here, starting from like Ranjit Uncle, Louis Banks, Niladri Kumar, Zakir ji, of course, Selva Ganesh, and you name all the Bollywood singers and music directors, Salim Sulaiman, Vishal-Shekhar, Arijit Singh. Like I was in the house band for MTV Unplugged where, we met.
Did that together.
We
Exactly.
met there. And like, it's so crazy having to like go back. And I remember that. And I will always remember that. And I'll cherish that for the rest of my life. Because without that, I would have never been recognized outside. Having played with AR Rahman for 8.5 years, that got me not only national recognition, but also international recognition. And I wanted to squeeze that opportunity. And I think a lot of people know this, but like after 12th board exams, which was, I was trying to balance both my academics and my touring life at that time because I was already working. I was like, okay, what's my goal? I need to get the hell out of my parents' place.
That is a tough pick.
Yeah, and fashion was always my thing. But then I thought to myself, I have to give it a true shot. I chose to be in AR's band, and that kind of opened a lot of doors.
Yeah, I think that's... we're all thankful for that decision somewhere, right?
Yes,
because then
absolutely.
we got to see this awesome side of Mohini. Yeah.
Thank you. And it means a lot, having done all of that and seeing musicians like you making waves in the Indian music industry, because I know it's hard. We still don't have enough female musicians.
We don't.
Last night I was playing in Delhi and I had 6 female bass players. And that was like, wow. That was like, it made me so happy. I almost had a tear in my eye. I was like, okay, things are happening.
That is
we are advancing.
No, we are.
India
absolutely.
is becoming more progressive.
Like you would know also, right? We've been in this field of such a male-dominated instrument, whether it's the bass or whether it's percussions. And, you're always working with the guys around and I'm like constantly looking for, okay, where are those other female percussionists? So, where are the other female tabla players? And then very recently I started a project. It's called Women Who Drum. Just 2 days ago, we did like a virtual meet.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, I found my community. There are women playing this instrument and we just need to get together. We just need to know each other.
Okay, should we do the next question?
Let's go to the next one. Okay. What are some of the challenges that come with playing your instrument that people don't know about?
Challenges, I don't know. I think initially when I was a kid, the challenge was to kind of find my personality because I was such an introverted soul as a kid growing up and always being in that controlled environment. But I'm grateful because, like you said, sometimes there can be situations in any field, not just music field, where you have to protect yourself and your personality and your energy really makes a difference.
Of course.
So when I walk into the room, when I'm doing a project or meeting somebody new and we're about to collaborate, they know, do not mess with this. Yeah, I give that energy. I'm very intimidating and it's good.
It's good.
Because I'm not trying to,
it's good.
I'm just here for work. And I think I wouldn't say any challenge, but initially that was like trying to find like, who am I? Like, okay, I'm trying to do this, I'm trying to do that, like so many different things. I'm such an introverted soul, but now I talk a lot. So I'm not an introverted soul anymore, but I have my moments where I go between different emotions because of the, experiences that I've had over the years. And I turn them into albums.
Perfect way to do it.
Yeah, I just turn them into albums. Yeah.
Music's always...
that's all I know. So that's what I do. Yeah.
Should be.
Okay, let's do the next question. Besides your instrument, what's an essential piece of gear you can't live without?
So the thing is, being a percussionist,
Yeah.
you have so much gear
It's
to
limit-
carry
Yeah.
that you don't want to carry anything extra because you already have
It's
so
a lot
much.
to set up
It's
already.
a lot to set up, right? And actually, there's one thing I do have, which is this small dabba in which I have the powder for my tabla. Like I've
Yeah.
refilled that powder, I don't know how many times, but I've never decided to throw it away and get a new box for whatever reason.
That's awesome.
And it's literally a Johnson's Baby
That's
powder
called
box.
dedication. Like
So I think that's been with me for, let's say, 15 plus years.
wow,
Easily.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see what we have. There are more jokes about drummers and bassists than there are about singers and guitarists.
Really?
What do you think that is?
Why do you?
Why
think that?
do you think that is?
I think we're more exciting. Let's put it that way.
Absolutely. I think we are cooler.
Yeah.
We're just way too much.
Yeah. I mean, we have
Way
some
too cool.
pizzazz and we have some swag. I mean, not saying singers don't have that, but like you said, like we need more recognition overall, worldwide, when it comes to instrumentalists in general.
I agree.
Regardless of
Absolutely.
gender.
Absolutely. I agree.
Because we are behind the scenes, you
Always.
know. I've played in over probably like 200 movies. Half of them I don't even know. Like sometimes I'll be watching movies and like background.
That's my take.
I'm like, wait,
Like
is that me? And I actually vlog it like when something like that happens to me. This happened like a few months ago. And I was just sitting at home and I was watching this movie Mom with Sridevi in it, right? And I'm like, wait, that sounds like my vocabulary.
When did that happen?
Yeah, when did that happen? I'm like, but I'm contradicting myself. I'm like, no, that's not me. That's not me. I'm like, wait, but that's my lick. That's my lick. Like, I do that. And then I looked it up and I'm like, that is me.
Nice.
And then I realized, wow, it was one time, it was like at 4 a.m. in the morning, AR had called me to his like Powai studio. And it was right after my gig. And he's like, Mo, are you free? I'm like, yeah, I'm free. Literally in my club outfit, I went to his studio and he was recording me there. So I had that memory. I was like, wow. That's interesting. The things we do and then don't
No, it's
remember.
funny. I had the same, exact same incident where I listened to a tabla. It was an Adesh Srivastav song many years back. And I'm like, okay, this sounds familiar.
Yeah.
This sounds me.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, the thing is also, I wasn't told that it was for that song or it's going to come out in this movie. Sometimes I used to have this feeling of I'm getting a chance, so maybe I should just go in, do what you're supposed to do, go out, no questions asked, that kind of a situation.
But coming back to the question, I feel like we have awards for singers, like female playback singer, male playback singer. Every year it happens. We have Jima, we have Filmfare,
All
and
of
name
them,
it, like
all
so
of
many.
them,
But
but
we don't.
not-
We have it for sound engineers too, but we
Yes.
don't have it for instrumentalists. Look at it this way: there are older people that have given so much of their lives to just movies, but they are not known.
Nowhere.
Only we know them because obviously we work with them closely. Why aren't they awarded? Where is that recognition? There is none.
It isn't.
So that's why I said, like, India isn't that progressive yet. It's going, it's advancing, but yeah.
I think the other, thing that I don't personally like is this hierarchy of where people stand on a stage. A singer being in the front, being in the center.
It used to be worse back in the days, but now
used to be.
they
It used
are
to be.
giving featured spots for solos,
Now it's
which
much
is
better.
kind of
Now it's
nice.
much
Yeah,
better.
it's much better.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it in like a pop setup, like it happens
Yeah.
in the West a lot,
lot.
because they have dancers. Where would you put the
True.
band?
True.
They have dancers. They're jumping around the stage all the time. Like, luckily with Willow, when I play, everything is live. Everything is like, we don't use any clicks. And when I met her, something that really excited me and was fascinating about her was that she likes to give musicians in her band that freedom to step out a little bit.
Nice.
Like, don't do the same thing every night,
I think that's very, very important.
Yeah, and I think that's so beautiful. And I think that's why like the Tiny Desk and the Jimmy Fallon like got so much love, because it not only showcased the musicality and the musicianship, but also that she has so much love for instrumentalists, talented instrumentalist. And she's had such a big transformation in the last few years. You can really hear that in her music.
I think that kind of love and that mutual respect between the artists on the stage,
It shows.
It shows in the music.
Yes.
And then it just translates directly to your audience. It just
Yeah.
does. You can tell as an audience what's happening on stage.
When teaching music, what is one aspect that you find hardest to teach or that students find most difficult to learn? This is fun.
Expression.
Good answer.
You can teach pretty much everything
Yeah.
in terms of the literature, the language, how do you play, how do you get faster, all of that.
Yeah.
But I think it comes with spending time with your instrument. Experience and just simply being with your instrument day in and day out, discipline. Discipline.
Structure.
Just so many things. It took me a very long time to understand what is my style of playing. Or so tabla, for example, or percussions, for example, has always been loud. It's always been fast. It's always been, about that tonality of, kind of being above the rest of the layer. If you're playing in a large band, you're kind of trying to be above the layer of the drums because otherwise you're not going to be heard.
Oh, really? Wow.
But then I realized that I don't like that loud playing. I don't like that size
it's not
of the instrument at all.
One thing I've noticed is that everybody wants to play fast.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I think it comes with the right technique. For me, I believe that it's not about like how much physical strength you have. Yes, bass, seems like it's like a very, you have to dig in and you need a lot of strength and power to play it. But really, when I'm playing, I let the electronics do the job for me. Another thing is consistency. I think that's something that lacks in today's generation because they get sidetracked and distracted by so many other things because there's so much out there.
There is.
But I always tell them, if you are half-hearted in one thing, like you want to do this, but then you also want to do this, you also want to do this. And so I always tell them, initially when you're starting, start with one thing. Get better at it, be consistent, have a good structure, have a good discipline, and you have to do it every day. If you don't do it one day, you're going to go back. You're going to go back, because I grew up in a household, like I said, in a very strict household. I used to be up at like 5:30 a.m. in the morning. I had like early morning school. So from 6 a.m. to 12 p.m., I'm in school. I'm doing my school homework for like 2 hours. Then my private tutor would come home. She would teach me for another 2-3 hours. Then she'd leave. I would do her homework. It's like going to two different schools. And then my dad would give me music lessons after that. And then I would practice his lessons. No matter how tired I am or how tired he is, that would happen. Only day off was Saturday and Sunday. And then those days, I would allow myself and give myself some grace to just, have my little alone time and do my artsy-fartsy shit, And so at a young age, I realized, you need that structure to be good at something. Like you said, you allow your intent and contentment and joy, enthusiasm, all these emotions to flow through your instrument. You can really feel it. And then the desire is never enough.
Exactly.
You want more.
Then it doesn't feel like practice, or it doesn't feel like, okay, you're not looking at the clock, right?
Yeah.
Because you just want to do more of it.
Yeah,
You just want to do more of it.
Exactly. And those are just tools, right?
Yeah.
Like we have in life, and we want to use them to our advantage so that we can speak well, so that we can allow ourselves to say our stories in the best way possible. And I think we do that with our instrument, and we're still trying to do that, and we're going to keep doing it, throughout our lives, and that's what we're here for. There's no other goal.
Let's see. What's a weird ritual that you do that helps you perform?
Ooh. Before the show, I'm usually eating a lot and listening to just music that I'm not going to play. It helps me distract my mind, because sometimes I can get into this zone where I'm thinking about planning what I want to do, and I've realized about myself, because I'm very self-aware and I know my tendencies and triggers. If you put me on the spot, I do my best. But if I put myself on the spot, no. Yeah, so I just kind of naturally distract myself. I eat, I listen to music, and I'll play, with my clothes and stuff. I'll cut some shit up. I like to have my boiling hot water and chew a gum before getting up on stage, and that motion my mouth helps me like just like not look at anybody in the audience and just play my bass. I'm not
Chewing
thinking.
motion clears the emotions.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like the warmth, the water when it like passes through, like
Interesting.
down. It's like so
Comforting.
Yeah, it's comforting.
Okay, this is really funny, but I need to like pee just before I get on stage.
That's like everybody. I feel like
Like it cannot be even 10 minutes before going on.
Oh, really?
Like it has to be just
like a minute.
A minute. Yeah. Like, okay, are we ready to go on? Okay, I'll be there.
Right? Yeah.
Kind of a thing. And distracting. I also
I
get
think it's
that.
a good.
I think I play games on my
Yeah, it's
phone.
almost like therapy too. Like
Yeah.
you know your ways. But like with the gum thing, like one time my gum got stuck in my hair and the gum was just hanging there throughout the whole show. And it was hilarious. And we saw it on camera, like on the screen, and people can see the gum hanging and like, wow, great.
Yeah, I think distracting kind of works always.
Yeah, it does, it
you
does.
just land up getting on
It's like
stage
defense
with a,
mechanism,
yeah, with a very
right? Like
fresh
we do that
mind.
in life too.
Yeah.
We do that like with loss, that's something because like I'll say this, like after my dad passed, literally after 3 days, I was back to work. It was my way of like indulging myself in work,
Yeah.
because otherwise I would have probably just like sulked in my house, and that was
Same
something
thing,
I
yeah,
didn't want to do. I just wanted to like distract myself in the right direction,
In
put
the
the
right-
energy
yeah,
in the right
yeah.
direction. And that's subjective,
And,
like
and
it's different.
I think music kind of does that to you also.
Yeah,
it kind of
totally.
creates this lovely blanket,
Absolutely.
around you that kind of.
Yeah.
I lost my dad like now it's been 11 years.
Oh, wow.
And it's the same thing. Just like 4 days later, I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
where's the tabla? Where's the music?
Yeah.
Just dive into it and
Yeah.
distract
And
yourself.
creating is such a gift,
It is.
because not everybody has that gift. I feel like we were born with a mission almost, and we're just doing it. I feel like I was put on this train by my dad, and I don't know where the destination is, and I'm like making stops.
it's this
we're
journey
just
that-
going,
yeah.
like powering through. People find it so funny, like you look so happy on stage, and you're like such a big powerful diva. I'm like, yeah, that's because it's my job. But like cutting up those like different fabrics, textures, and like with music,
That's your happy
complementing
place.
and playing with like different genres and different people from different parts of the world, like it's kind of similar. Like I find
is.
versatility in both the worlds, and
Just kind of like stitching it
Yeah,
together to create
yeah.
that canvas. And
absolutely, and different colors come out and different things
I
come
think
out.
that's like the biggest thing with collaboration, which is why I
Yeah.
cannot do without collaboration.
Yeah.
And it's just such an important part of,
Yeah.
being a musician.
Speaking of
being an
collaboration, we
artist.
should collaborate. We haven't done that.
Soon.
we have to
absolutely.
do
We
that.
have to do that.
Okay, if there's one thing you could change about the music industry, what would it be?
Why does everybody have to work at night, late at night? Like
I
the
love
recording
working
industry.
at night. What are you talking about?
Like I love working at 7 a.m. Like if I'm doing a recording,
Yeah.
I call people I'm collaborating with
Yeah.
at 8 or 9 in the morning, and
Yeah.
I usually get yelled at and I get
Right.
abusers saying what is
That's
wrong with
like
you.
to your desired
yeah.
liking,
But I'm
because
like, why can't it be?
you have a
this-
certain
this-
schedule in
Yeah, why
life.
can't it be this normal
Yeah.
normal schedule, like sunrise sunset schedule?
Yeah, like you have your
Yeah.
priorities, then you have to meet those. So,
So,
you design your
So
life
maybe that.
based on that. Yeah. What would I change? I feel like people should hire musicians based on their skill and work, and not regardless of their gender. I don't think
Absolutely.
that people should hire based on gender. Second thing I would like to change is being on time. Please be on
Yes.
time. Like, can
I
you
agree.
like why and if I just had to talk about India, I feel like I keep repeating myself with the whole progressive attitude, but I realized that when I was here doing all the international work, being present here physically, I'm not international enough. But when I left and then I did all the international work like I always was, then I'm international.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's, Many years back, Trilok Guruji, I met him at a concert, and we were speaking, and I told him this is what I do, and he heard some of the music I play, and this is exactly what he told me. He said, you know what, you want to gain respect of the industry here, just go abroad and then come back. Like, come back as someone who's from there.
Zakir ji did that too.
Yeah. And he
Trilok
says,
did that.
He says, I was here. This is what he told me. He said, I was here. I got, he was talking in Marathi, and he said,
No,
"Koi bhav nahi mila."
are
He said, "Mujhe koi bhav nahi mila."
Yeah.
And I went to Germany and I settled there, and then I came back,
Yeah.
and now I'm like this international superstar.
Yeah.
And
It's a thing.
Funny.
It's a thing.
If you could perform only one song for the rest of your life, what song would that be?
Oh, that's a beautiful question. I think everybody knows this, but this is going to be a hard choice because I'm a big fan of Bruno Mars, and I cannot not listen to Bruno Mars for the rest of my life. Like, I need to listen to Bruno Mars. But I'm also a huge fan of George Benson and Algero. There's this one song called Ordinary People. And yeah, I can't live. If that song doesn't exist in my life, like going forward, I don't know, my life would be depressing. Yeah. So yeah, Ordinary People, if you haven't checked out. Ordinary People by George Benson and Algero.
Nice. I think for me it is AR's song. It's a Tamil song. Ennavale adi adi ennavale.
Okay.
It's basically
I know this.
Yeah.
Ennavale adi ennavale.
Like, I need that song in my life,
Yeah.
It's the Tamil version of Sunari Sakhi.
Yeah,
which is more
Sunari Sakhi, yes,
popular
correct,
in the
yes.
Bollywood part of it.
Yeah.
But I think that is my go-to. And then there's one more go-to, which is totally different from, the kind of music I play, which is Lata ji's Abhi Na Jao Chhodkar.
Oh, yeah.
I love that song.
That was my dad's favorite too.
I love
and my
that
mom's.
song.
It's
Actually, I'm a big fan of old Bollywood.
Yeah, me too. In
I
fact,
just
I
love
like
it.
the old school stuff more, like
Yeah,
the black and white movie stuff. It's
Oh my
still
God, I
gold.
love it. Yeah.
It's evergreen.
So
Yeah.
I think I would play those songs all
Now
day,
it's
every
all
day.
just like heavy EDM, techno, electronica.
It's too many
and they're
layers.
remixing all the old stuff.
I think the problem now is it's too many layers on there.
Yeah.
If you open their session, you will find a stack. I don't
Just
think that
trying to,
existed,
reinterpret all the old stuff that's already been
I
done.
don't think that massive stack ever existed in those songs, which is why it's so
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yep.
So, I think, that was the last card I had.
Wow. It was so lovely talking to you.
Absolutely. It
That's
was,
crazy that this is the first time we hung out, and it happens to be with Westside.
very cool. Thank you for this. I
Thank
think
you.
we should do this often
We should do this often. Next
And
time I'm back in
collaborate.
India, definitely hitting you up.
and collaborate.
Absolutely.